Io invece vorrei chiedere a Mackie e a Rupert cosa vi ha divertito della sceneggiatura, insomma le ragioni che vi hanno spinto ad accettare questo ruolo, se c'era qualcosa che vi spaventava all'inizio.
It wasn't scary. I mean, you know, I was the same way. I think there's something. It's true that the vibrator was invented in Victorian England in the 1880s, and there's something inherently funny about that and inherently interesting. And I was interested, and I liked Charlotte. I mean, I thought the movie was served best if she was just like a wild animal, and I wanted to play someone like that because I kind of am always looking for a situation, like an acting situation where I can just be as free as I can, and doing that will make the movie better. So that's what attracted me. And the script was excellent. I mean, it was in such good shape when it came to me, which is not always the case. So often you get scripts and they'll say, oh, they're doing a rewrite, you know, they need to do a little work on your character. But the script was so good and so solid, and you know, I didn't know Tanya and I didn't know her work then, but I thought, I'm okay with this script, like I know, and then I met her and she was great, but the script was just really good.
And no, I just thought that my role was a very good role, very beautifully written and funny, and so just the idea was a great idea. Simple. Sometimes you get offered lots, and sometimes you don't get offered lots, and so I'm just in one of those periods where you don't probably get offered lots, so that's why. As to being eccentric and funny, I think it's great for me. I think I'm happier as an actor older than I was younger. Sometimes when I see myself in films when I was a kid, I feel there's a tension in me that I don't feel so much now, except I can't remember the lines anymore. So, you know, everything changes. But it's basically a question of, you know, it's very up and down, the world of show business. And sometimes, you know, you make an eclipse with the rest of the world, and sometimes you're out by the crab nebula.
So you wanted to know which other character that I played recently I really liked? I guess I really liked, I just played Masha in Three Sisters on stage, which I guess you guys didn't see, but I liked that a lot. That was probably my favorite person I've ever played, maybe. I really like the women I've played. There's not anyone I've played who I don't like. Well, no, there's one. But I won't tell you who. I mean, I really, really like them. That's part of my job, I think, is to figure out why they're likable and what is lovable about every human being. And I like it the most when the person I have to play does things that can be seen as despicable. So you can really work hard to figure out how they're lovable too. I mean, Charlotte is just like so lovable. I think it's easy. Everything about her, you kind of wish you could be her, I think. Kind of wish, oh, if I lived in Victorian England, I would have been like that. But probably none of us would have been like that. You know, I don't think she's particularly historically accurate, but she's a good time.
Una domanda lì e poi ce ne sono due da...
After she died, or actually quite recently, they found the pharmacist's bills from her local pharmacy in Scotland. And she was basically, she would have been in rehab for painkillers if it was today, because she was kind of half addicted to laudanum. And also, she had a very passionate relationship with her husband, who had a gigantic penis, Prince Albert, and he had named after him a thing called the Prince Albert, which is a type of earring that you put in the end of the penis, and then if it's very long and you have to wear formal clothes, you tie the penis to your leg. So they were in fact, this is the truth, they were in fact quite, the Victorians were quite extreme in many ways. Underneath the surface of frigidity and rigidity and empire, London was really the first of the big centres. You could find everything in London. There were Chinese, there was whole Asiatic quarters, there was everything going on there. So underneath the surface, there were tons and tons of really kinky things going on. So whether she knew about a vibrator or not, I think that is kind of just a joke. But she certainly was not exactly what people think of her as.
I did not see the documentary that you referred to, but Rupert did this amazing, was it on BBC, The Victorian Sex Explorer? And so, I mean, I have to say, like, when I got on the set, I was, you know, pretty nervous because I knew that there was someone who knew way more about the period and the history than I did, and quite a few people. And you couldn't kind of just totally make it up as you went along. And there were definitely like times where some word would come up and you're like, you know, is this word period accurate? And I was Googling, you know, in a panic, trying to make sure everything was, you know, was accurate. But I mean, there's a amount of, as Rupert said, a bit of license and fantasy and kind of just good humor as well. So.